Hello and welcome to the Dr. Grant Show. Today's show topic, how I succeeded in turning my pandemic burnout around. It has been over 1 year since the pandemic started. And if you've seen previous episode, I have mentioned about experiencing massive pandemic burnout. For those of you that are unfamiliar with the term, it is immense burnout due to the pandemic. And there are scores and scores of news reports popping up all the time about mothers, parents, people experiencing pandemic burnout. Signs and symptoms of pandemic burnout include one of many, can include extreme fatigue, lack of motivation, headaches, in some cases, chest pains, feelings of hopelessness, powerlessness, irritability, swift and rapid mood changes, ranging all the way from just feeling like no mood whatsoever at all. The reason why I'm covering this with you today is because it is extremely important because it is affecting people worldwide. And I'm sharing with you what worked for me. What you see sitting in front of me are these crystal singing bowls. Now, the reason why I've learned more and more and I'm passionate about these crystal singing bowls, as well as playing them and recommending them, is because despite having a pretty effective morning routine that succeeded in keeping my head above water, so to speak, and my morning routine normally consisted of yoga, pranayama breathing, and EFT tapping. That helped me overall get through the pandemic. And I'll be writing more about that and publishing an article soon to expound more upon that. However, the terrifying thing is just when you have something licked, it stops working. Have you ever experienced something like that where you thought you had something beat? You thought you knew what you were doing. You thought you had already crossed that bridge and you were done. And then all of a sudden, it just stops working. And that was what I experienced about 1 to 2 months ago. My morning routine that had been my saving grace to keeping me calm, stress-free, reduced my anxiety, all of a sudden stopped working. And I started experiencing massive headaches, chest pain, back pain, fatigue. And when I say fatigue, I mean the kind of fatigue that no matter how much sleep I arranged to get, I'd open my eyes in the morning and I would already feel like I had run a 21-mile marathon. Now I'm a runner. And I'm an avid yogi enthusiast, but I have not trained for a 21-mile marathon by any stretch of the imagination. So what do you do when your morning routine stops working? I'm sharing with you something that's an old friend of mine that I had been studying the science of vibrations, frequency, and sound for 30 years. I've been acquainted with it in theory. However, I had yet to take the step into a intentional application of the practice. So the first thing I picked up in my exploration were tuning forks. Now, I'm going to hold up several tuning forks here so that you can see them. I started off with these 3 frequencies, a 528, which is known as and has been shown in scientific studies to foster repair and boosting the immune system, a 128, which is great for relaxing the muscular system, and the 256, which is also very good for relaxing the muscles, especially if you're dealing with a headache. When you combine tuning forks with, let's say, for example, any area where you're experiencing muscle aches and pains, the benefit of tuning forks is that they release nitric oxide. And these are in peer-reviewed journals and scientific studies by releasing certain frequencies. And each frequency, it is actually very effective for different things. However, because I was just starting out, I wanted to start off with just these. So allow me to play these for you. What you're looking at are an unweighted tuning fork and a weighted tuning fork. Now, why is this important and why am I covering all this? And what does this have to do with if you struggle with overeating, binge eating, food addiction, food cravings? I'm covering this because often your emotions and the inability to have the tools accessible to you to help you manage your emotions, and when situations happen that throw you off kilter, it's the reason and the trigger and the cause behind the overeating and the binge eating and the emotional eating. So this is why I found it extremely important to share this with you. So allow me just to play the unweighted so you can hear it. The weighted, which is a lower tone and sound, which is the 128, and the 256 weighted. Unweighted tuning forks are fantastic for just if you want to have more sound in the air. The weighted tuning forks are fantastic for when you want to apply them to an area on your body. So for example, I used this not too long ago for a sinus issue, and I struck the weighted tuning fork like so, and I actually applied it to the side of my nose and began to experience immediate relief. I also had my husband apply this to the back of my neck, just like so you can see here, anytime I experience a headache. And I found that to be a very good drug-free, natural, holistic approach to addressing these things. Once again, find what works for you. I am sharing with you my story, that what has worked for me. Now, for the coup de grace, excuse me. I took Spanish in high school, not French. I'm going to play and give you a sampling of the beautiful harmonic sounds and harmonious sounds of the crystal singing bowls. The crystal singing bowls, usually you can buy them separately, but I recommend getting them in a set or just listening to the wonderful sounds of them. And they're all attuned to your chakras and to various frequencies and notes. So listen to each one of these. Now, the other beautiful thing is the ability to play the crystal singing bowls, which is what I will be doing for you now, as soon as I find all the mallets. You play a crystal singing bowl by simply rubbing the mallet on the side. I hope that you've enjoyed this delightful sampling and miniature meditative session with the crystal singing bowls. I am overwhelmed by the supportive evidence of sound therapy and utilizing things such as tuning forks and instruments such as crystal singing bowls, Tibetan singing bowls, still tongue drums, chimes, didgeridoos, ocean drums. There are so many things that are utilized in the practice of sound therapy. And in some circles, they are called sound baths. For the sake of this discussion, and also for the scientists in me, I'm just going to refer to it as sound therapy, but people often refer to these as sound bath instruments and tools. What's so wonderful about these instruments is that science has finally caught up with what I first encountered 30 years ago, and the research continues to mount for the effectiveness of tools and instruments like this and listening to their calming and relaxing sounds. What they have done and what has been documented in scientific studies has ranged from reductions in stress, anxiety, boosting the immune system. In a recent study conducted on dementia patients that often exhibited violent and aggressive behavioral tendencies, sessions with crystal singing bowls and Tibetan singing bowls drastically reduced their aggressiveness by 50 and over 50%. Scientific studies conducted utilizing singing bowls with cancer patients also found that there was a significant reduction in their symptoms such as anxiety, experiencing stress, discomfort by merely listening to the sounds of crystal singing bowls, Tibetan singing bowls, and sound therapy. Because I am so moved by the profound effect that sound therapy has had on me as well as other people in my household, also bolstered and boosted by peer-reviewed scientific studies as well as countless other independent experiences, positive, remarkable experiences that have been documented from all over the world. I am adding sound therapy to my wellness practice in order to help women and a few brave men that struggle with the symptoms of emotional eating, food addiction, overeating, and binge eating. It is a marvelous, holistic, drug-free, and might I also add pleasant addition to the practice because it's enjoyable, it's easy to listen to, no pun intended, and as I mentioned previously, the effects of sound therapy have been documented as being very beneficial and very effective according to scientific studies. All right, everyone. Thank you for watching the Dr. Grant Show. The Dr. Grant Show is on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. If you struggle with emotional eating, food addiction, overeating, binge eating, look us up on edibleaddiction.com. My name is Dr. Kirsten Grant, and the reason why I created this show just for you is because I lost my mother to food addiction and emotional eating and obesity, and I wanted to help people that struggle with that by creating a holistic yet effective way of approaching and giving people the tips and advice and tools that they need to overcome the emotions that cause us to break the promises to ourselves by giving you not just the sound therapy and sound baths, but a complete immersive experience that covers fitness, fun, food, not to mention, and we can never leave out the most important component of it, mindset tools. And these mindset tools can range from EFT tapping to hypnotherapy to the utilization of CBT and NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, all together combined a total circle of wellness, and that way no stone is left uncovered. And it helps you shorten the gap between where you are right here and the life that you deserve to have over here, and make the two become one. Much love to you. Namaste. Bye.